Good morning. It's March 27th, 2026, and this is Jimmy Skogard. I'm recording episode 27, Grassroots Rising. Today I'm going to talk about Tomorrow Starts Today. We start off with Ashley. Ashley's just busy. She's running an organic wheat business in Pine Bluff. She has a full schedule, real responsibilities, a couple of children, and no extra hours lying around waiting to be filled, but somewhere in the middle of all that work, Ashley's carved out a few minutes to help us with this campaign. She started putting together graphics for Instagram so people in her community would know when we were coming to visit. And that matters. It matters because this is what a real grassroots movement looks like. Our grassroots movement didn't begin with a consultant in some distant office. It didn't begin with a big, fat, giant check. It began when ordinary people with full lives decided to give a little time to something bigger than themselves. And that's what I want to talk about today, because tomorrow starts today. We spent February in the Forge. We built the guide ropes of this movement: volunteer structure, repeatable scripts, weekly rhythm, practical training, and early habits of self-government. It may not have looked dramatic from the outside, but the work was real. We're not wasting time, we're laying track. February was where planning met wind, resistance, fatigue, and the reality of Wyoming. It was a heavy lift. Now, here in late March, we're beginning to see what that effort produces. Not perfection, not a finished machine, not some polished operation that appeared overnight. We are seeing signs of life. Ashley in Pine Bluffs is helping spread the word about our visit. Whitney in Jackson is pinning down speaking venues and talking to shop owners. Eric in Laramie has been helping think through venues and how to get neighbors in the room. Brett's been adding ideas and energy, and many more volunteers are attending weekly meetings every Saturday morning when they can. These efforts are both small and large because they're not random pieces. These are the first signs that a volunteer campaign is starting to act like a living network. That is the result. The result is not only a post or a graphic or a date on a calendar. The result is that people are starting to take ownership. The result is this campaign is becoming less about one person trying to carry everything and more about the neighbors deciding to build something together. That is real power. Big money can buy airtime, it can buy consultants, it can buy a reputation, but it cannot force a neighbor to care. It cannot manufacture conviction in the heart of a person who already has a job, a family, a business, and still chooses to give time to the future of the state. This is what makes a grassroots campaign dangerous to the machine. It is rooted in belief. It is rooted in trust. It is rooted in people who act before anyone gives permission. Tomorrow starts today. That phrase is not a slogan to me anymore. It is an operating principle. What we do this afternoon shapes what becomes possible next month. What we build in March becomes the foundation for April. The small acts matter. The first call matters. The follow-up matters. The graphic shared by a busy volunteer matters. The venue suggestion matters. The invitation matters. This is how a movement grows in Wyoming. This is how a movement grows in America. It grows in minutes stolen from a busy day. It grows one conversation at a time. It grows when someone decides not to wait for the perfect moment. And let me be honest, this network is still loosely aligned. It still needs much more structure. It still needs organizers. It still needs people with drive, discipline, and perseverance. But that is not the bad news. That is simply the truth of where we are. We're not pretending to be finished. We're building in public. We're inviting others to help shape what comes next. That is why feedback matters. If the volunteer path is unclear, say so. If the tools are awkward, say so. If the process needs to be simpler, say so. Because this only works if it becomes useful to real people living real lives. I think about the month ahead. Laramie on April 20th, Cheyenne on April 21st, Pine Bluffs on April 22nd, then on to Rollins on April 27th, Rock Springs on April 28th, Jackson Hole on April 29th. Those dates are not just stops on a map. They're proof that a campaign begins to move when people on the ground start helping carry the load. That's what Ashley's doing. That's what Whitney is doing. That's what Brett and Eric are doing. Eric even recommended that our Grassroots campaign coin the term, "Tomorrow starts today," the title of this episode. And that's what I'm asking more of us to do now. Let's just get started. Not all of us have the same schedule. Not all of us have the same gifts. But all of us can do something. One conversation, one share, one local connection, one room opened, one idea offered, one task accepted. That's how tomorrow starts today. If you've been waiting for the perfect moment to help, then it's time to rise. Take one step. Join our volunteer effort. Test the tools. Share the feedback. Help us build the next room, the next stop, the next conversation. Because agency means the ability to decide our future for ourselves. We still hold that power, but only if we use it. Our children and grandchildren's legacy is in our hands now. Please join and make our movement your movement at ScoGuard2026.org. Start with the volunteer page and set up your account and complete a survey. Join or start a conversation at grassrootsmvt.org. Thank you. Thank you for listening. I will talk to you tomorrow.